and jump back into the NFC breakdown here. The next team up here on the list are the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys suffered a horrific injury last season. That was Dak Prescott going down, and I think it was week 3 when he went down with that dislocated ankle and broken leg as well. And then the Cowboys really struggled to really find their groove, but the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, they won 3 straight and then eventually losing the Week 17 game versus the New York Giants, getting them out of playoff contention. So they did finish the season 6-10. Sean Lee retired for the Cowboys in the offseason, but they also did pick up a linebacker in the draft. So, Tori, I'm going to kick it to you first here. Looking at the Cowboys' schedule here, what game do you have circled as that marquee game?
Well, first off, you said that the Dallas Cowboys suffered a horrific injury. You are 100% correct, but I thought you were talking about Mike McCarthy being hired as their coach. So.
No, he's a Hall of Fame coach, Tori. He will lead them to the Super Bowl this year.
I like to gamble, so let's put money on this.
Okay.
So I'm going right away with week 1 with the Buccaneers. It's going to be the toughest game that they probably got all year. And it's a great way to start the season off. That is a great game to kick off the year.
Yeah.
So it's your opening game. It's going to be on the Thursday night game. As we know, the Super Bowl champs always open at home. So give me them, the Cowboys against the Buccaneers, opening night, kicking off the NFL season, and watching the Cowboys go 0-1.
So you do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that game. Is it a blowout game?
Generally, Thursday night games are for the home team. So
this is a little bit different because it's the opening day. So I mean it's not like you're on short rest or like anything.
Right.
So,
but I do because I think the Cowboys are not very good.
So you think that week 1 is a trend of what is going to happen through the 2021 season? Combs,
absolutely.
What about you? Marquee game.
So my marquee game is actually going to be week 2 because I also agree with Tori. I think they're going to lose to Tampa Bay, but week 2 against the Los Angeles Chargers, it's a very good team, a very young and up and coming team, a team that I have doing very well this season as well. As a matter of fact, I think the NFC West is going to be the best division in football. But with that being said, in honor of our boy Wyatt, I think the game against the Los Angeles Chargers is going to be the game that turns it around for the Dallas Cowboys, and they go on a streak, and they end up being very well 4-2 in the division. I have them 7-5 in the conference, so I think that this team is going to do very well. I also have them winning this division.
Yeah, so going off of what you guys said, I also have them losing that week 1 game. But then I have them winning 4 games in a row going into that Patriots game, which I do think the Patriots will win that game as Mac Jones will take over week 6 and we don't have any film on him. But the game that I have circled and the game that I'm going to be at because I have an amazing wife is the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I have that game circled just because if the Cowboys
going
well like that but the reason why I had that game circled is if the Cowboys can go toe to toe off offensive wise with the Kansas City Chiefs, which I think it is going to be a shootout, hopefully a shootout, like 45-42 score, and if we see that Cowboys offense do that, I think that will catapult them into a 10-win season, and I also have them 4-2 in the division, Combs, but I also have them finishing 10-7 on the season. Tori, what do you have them overall record at?
Overall record, I got them at 9-8.
Okay.
So I got them going 2-4 in the division.
Wow.
I can't stand this guy tonight. Like he is smoking the good stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know where he got it from. Like it's laced with something. But anyway, I have them at 11-6. I have them at 11-6. I have them losing to Tampa Bay week 1. Then I have them winning until week 8 when they lose against the Minnesota Vikings in a game that they shouldn't lose, but they do. Mm-hmm. And then I have them winning the next 2. I have them losing to Kansas City, winning the next 3, losing a game to the Giants, then losing to the Redskins, then losing to the Cardinals, but then beating the Eagles and have them finishing 11-6 and winning this division.
I lied. I don't have them at 9-8. I have them at 8-9.
Okay. which is still kind of mean. I guess that's kind of Dallas Cowboys.
What did you see from this team with Dak Prescott last year that makes them think that they're going to be 8 and 9?
No
they were the
defense.
best offense with Dak Prescott last
when
year.
You have no defense, and you can't stop anybody.
The defense didn't play well for the first 5 weeks, but for the last half of the season, they might have been one of the best defenses in football.
Right.
I will tell you right now, there is no way.
All right.
And you know why?
We're going to make some bets on this football season, man.
Their head coach is what's going to hold them back from being a good football team.
You know what? I agree with you that their head coach is a problem. He's the reason why I will not have them in the Super Bowl, but he is not the reason why they won't go 11-6. He has shown that he's very capable of being a good regular season head coach. I don't know. I don't get it. Dak Prescott does things with this offense that nobody else can match. I think Dak Prescott is a top 4 quarterback in this league. And I don't know how much more he has to prove to people other than being injured and still leading the league in passing for 5 weeks after being injured.
It wasn't 5 weeks. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. And what does that tell you about your defense at that point, that you had to throw
the defense
for
was playing bad for the first 6 weeks?
Yes, the defense was playing bad. They were scoring 35 plus points a game, and they were still losing. I agree with you. The defense was bad in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, they were the best. But second half, so you can't just discount what they did in the second half of the season last year.
Yeah, I can, because they were terrible.
So, Tori, the one thing that the Dallas Cowboys had working against them in the 2020 season was they did get a new defensive coordinator. Sean Lee was also out the first 8 weeks of the season. We saw it as soon as Sean Lee came back in. That defense was a brand new defense. Everything started to click, and then they were rolling. So, not having a off season, a regular offseason, like air quotes there, and then Sean Lee being injured, we saw once things clicked, the Dallas Cowboys were a pretty good team. I mean, I actually sat here on the Man Hour and said if they were to win the NFC East, I had them going to the NFC Championship game, and I still think that they could have closed against the Eagles and won the division, they would have been the NFC Championship game.
Now who's smoking the good stuff? That's some good Chiba you got going on.
I don't
there,
disagree
buddy.
with them.
Nah, there was no way. Not a chance. This is an overrated team. It is hands. Ezekiel Elliott is one of the most. The running back. Ezekiel Elliott is not that good of running back. And there again, but this comes down.
The numbers do not support your theory there. The numbers, and trust me, I don't like Ezekiel Elliott, so I was looking, and we had this conversation last year at the beginning of the season when we started talking about our running back rankings, and I tried like hell to keep Zeke out of even my top 5, and after looking at the numbers, I had no choice but to put him at number 1. I couldn't, because you just can't. You can't deny it. The numbers, they're so far superior to anybody else's
McCarthy,
numbers.
Though. McCarthy does not run the ball. Every year he talks about run the ball. He does not run the ball. He is not a good.
That's fine. He doesn't run the ball. He doesn't run the ball. But Zeke is good coming out of the backfield and catching the ball too.
I say he's
Zeke
better coming
is
out of the
a very versatile back, and Zeke, I'm telling you, man, to say that he's overrated, to say that he's not as good, it's just a false statement.
He is. He's over. He's not even in the top 5 of running backs in the league.
Yes,
no.
He is.
So I would put him in the top 10, but not in the top 5.
Total off topic here, but who are your top 5 running backs in if Zeke isn't in there?
So you got CMC's number 1.
Okay, I'll give you that.
You've got Aaron Jones is in there. I wouldn't put Aaron Jones number 2 though. I would put Aaron Jones probably number 5. You got Alvin Kamara, who's probably the number 2 back in the league. I would put Saquon Barkley.
He's got a Packer number 5. Imagine that.
But the thing, you can't deny it. The guy's got 30 some touchdowns.
You can't deny Zeke.
You've got 30 some. You've got 30 some touchdowns over the last 2 seasons for Aaron Jones.
How many of those were through the air though?
Quite a few.
So
he does both. He's actually
okay.
He's probably just as good out of the backfield as a receiver as he is a runner.
So you are saying that since Zeke gets the ball out in the flats more, just like Aaron Jones, he isn't a top 5? I mean,
no, he is not. I think he's an overrated back.
You're kind of counter-cutting yourself there.
He doesn't have the burst. He doesn't have the breakaway speed. He doesn't have anything like that.
The guy has run in 5 seasons. 5 seasons that he has run the ball. He's run for 6,384 yards.
I'm trying to find his stats for last year.
I don't understand. His stats from last year, he almost ran for 1,000 yards again last year in a very inept offense after Dak went down.
Yeah, they had 8 or 9 guys in the box every play.
He ran for 979 yards last year. He ran for 6 touchdowns.
What does that say? That doesn't say elite back to me.
Well, and Zeke didn't play the first 3 games of the year, right?
46 touchdowns in 5 seasons.
Aaron Jones has got 30 and 2.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so you gave us 3. You gave us CMC, Alvin Kamara, and Aaron Jones. What other 2 are top 5?
I'm trying to think here.
Zeke had a down year last year. Aaron Jones last 2 seasons, he doesn't even have more rushing yards than Zeke.
That's because he does both.
So does Zeke.
He's
what
a
are you
rushing
talking about?
So go total yards then. Look at the whole picture instead of trying to fit your own narrative. Because you're trying to fit your own narrative, you're not looking at the whole picture. You're like, oh, rushing yards. Look at total yards and compare them total yards.
All right, so let me take a look here at total yards. Last year was 1317 for Zeke. Last year was 1459 for Aaron Jones. The year before that was 1558 for Aaron Jones. The year before that was 1777 for Zeke.
So they're both on par. What do they got touchdowns wise? I'll give them that then.
What do you got touchdowns wise? I mean, Aaron Jones had 16 last year. Zeke had 12. Aaron Jones had 9 last year. Zeke had 6. Like you can't. Yeah, rushing.
I thought you were doing. I thought you were doing like I didn't realize you broke it down receiving and rushing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but
okay.
All right, but it's 2 totally different style offenses. You want to go to receiving touchdowns. Zeke has had 2 in each of the last 2 years, and Aaron Jones had 3 last year and 2 this year.
Zeke's overrated.
So
Zeke totally blew up his argument. Totally blew up his argument with facts, and he's like, Zeke's overrated. I don't care.
So we are still missing two running backs to round up your top 5. And if you have to think about it, that means you are really starting to like stretch. Let's just be honest.
No,
there's the numbers they blow you out of the water. You have no leg to stand on against Zeke being a top. I don't care if you don't have him at number 1, because I'm fine with CMC and maybe even Saquon and a couple other guys up there ahead of him. But to say no, Kamara's not better than Zeke. Stop it.
I think
stop. He's just the product of a very good offense, is what he was. And that's what he'll always be. If you put Kamara on any other offense in the league, he's not as good as he is in New Orleans.
You could say that about almost anybody. That we could play the one.
No, you can't. I could put Zeke on any team in this league, and he does the same thing.
No, you couldn't.
If not better.
You're gonna put him on the Jets, and he's gonna be good. No,
100% with that offensive line that they built in the draft the last 2 years.
Le'Veon Bell thought he could do that there too, and
Le'Veon Bell is not Zeke. Yeah. Le'Veon Bell was done.
Le'Veon, well, in his heyday,
even Pittsburgh told him he was done.
So let's go ahead and swing back to the Dallas Cowboys here. Combs, who is their league MVP or their team MVP this season?
Zeke. No,
you knew that was coming.
It's Dak. Dak's going to be the MVP. Dak's going to be the MVP of the league this year. So he's going to be the MVP of the Cowboys as well.
Okay. Tori, what about you?
I'm going to agree. I think Dak will be the team MVP of this year. I'm not giving him the MVP of the league. However, I am going to give him comeback player of the year this year, though, too. I think Dak does have a big year this year.
And I'm going to go on the defensive
Dak has
side.
a big year, and they're 8-9.
Yep.
God, you're such a Packer fan.
And I'm going to go on the defensive side. I'm going to go with Jalen Smith. I think Jalen Smith is the new key to that defense with Sean Lee being out and Vanderish being hurt to start the season. So I think Jalen Smith has to jump up big and really be the leader of that whole entire team. And how good he plays is how good the Dallas Cowboys play this season. So before we move on, let's go ahead and put the win-loss total on there, guys, just for one last time. Combs, what do you have them at?
I have the Cowboys at 11-6.
11-6. Tori?
8-9.
And I had the Cowboys going 10-7, winning the NFC East this season.